Meditation didn't change my life the first time that I tried it, and it didn't change it the last time that I tried it. But after 4 years, after doing 5 to 600 meditation sessions, I can truly see and feel the impact it had on my life. I have this memory from 5 years ago when I was sitting in high school in my physics class. I was at a table with maybe 5 or 6 other people, and the lecture was going on, the teacher was talking about whatever, and I just felt the need to blow my nose. Like I just randomly needed to go blow my nose, and I'm sure everyone has felt that before, and you just go get a tissue, right? But for some reason, I was so in my head. I was so anxious sitting there wanting to blow my nose. I was thinking, what are all these people going to think of me if I go to blow my nose? What are they going to judge me as? They're going to see me as weak. They're going to see me as weird. I had such a huge fear and anxiety about people thinking that I was weird. And so I didn't blow my nose. And like, mind you, I barely knew any of these people. I had a couple friends in the class, but most of them just strangers. I knew their name, but I didn't really know them. But I was giving them this much power. And so I would sit there and I would feel pain. I would feel discomfort because I was too anxious to go blow my nose. It was such a terrible place to be in, and I was in that cycle for 2 years. 2 years straight in that fear-filled mind, that fear-filled sense of the world. It was truly terrible. And in order to escape, to cope with that feeling, I started binge eating food. I would eat maybe 2,000, 3,000 calories normally, and then I would keep going. I would order pizza, I would have brownies, I would have soda. I'd be finishing 2-liter Cokes by myself. I'd down 2 pizzas in a night, and I'd also be eating a dessert. I was hitting 5,000 to 7,000 calories a night sometimes, and I would do it multiple times a week. This led me to gain over 50 pounds in 3 months. I can see photos in my Google Photos when I look back during that time, and I just see myself from going skinny to just fat as hell. Like, it was insane how fast I was able to gain this weight. And the huge reason for that speed was that I would just keep eating past the point that I was hungry anymore. I would keep eating until I was just gaining weight. I felt bloated and I was disgusted. It wasn't until I started going to the gym, I started lifting weights, that I would feel gaps of just no anxiety. I'd feel really good in the gym. When you're sweating and you push yourself really hard, whether you're running, whether you're lifting, and you just feel that high? I would feel that, and that would create that first gap. And it also showed me what it was like to feel anxiety free. And it wasn't until I started meditating consistently and using the specific meditation technique we'll get to later that I actually felt stress-free, anxiety-free throughout my entire day. I felt so free and happy from that point. Like, I remember the specific time more recently that I really saw my progress in this skill. Around a year ago, I was living in Barcelona. I was taking some classes at a local university, and the college that I was going to in the US, in the United States, it would have like 400 people in these classes, like huge lecture halls, and then the teacher would be at the front. And those always felt more like an online school. Like, I was basically just watching a YouTube video, right? Like, if there's 400 people here, there's no classroom experience, you're not getting taught one-on-one. And I didn't really like that type of teaching. But when I was in Barcelona, all of these classes had 20 people in them. It felt exactly like high school. And that was so amazing because I got a second shot at rewriting that story of me not wanting to blow my nose. And I was able to be the class clown. I was able to make jokes. I would yell out. I would just be myself with no stress and anxiety every single day. And I'd just be making everyone laugh. And it was truly beautiful that, in hindsight, after seeing all these meditation sessions and showing up every single day and doing the work, that I could see the true result change in the same environment. I was in a classroom, I had 20 people around me, and I had completely opposite behaviors out of me. I had so much more fun. I was so much more authentic. And the type of meditation I was doing in order to get to this state was something I just talked about in a previous video, and I'll go over it again, and it's called absolute focus meditation. So if you've not meditated maybe more than 100 times, this is the first thing you want to get into before you start to experiment, because there are so many different types of meditation. There's the mantra type where you're repeating the same word or phrase over and over again. There's like transcendental meditation, which you hear a sound and you're just focusing into that sound. But the first thing you want to do is absolute focus meditation, because this will give you a nice foundation of focus, which will translate into your work, it'll translate into your relationships, and then you could experiment with these different things. So absolute focus meditation is where you set a timer for literally 1 minute. You might be used to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but you just set it for 1 minute. And during this minute, you just want to focus on your breath with your eyes closed. And if a single thought or distraction pops up into your head, you stop. You just have to stop right there and restart the timer and get to a minute. And only when you can get to a minute with zero thoughts in your mind, zero distractions, do you expand it to 2 minutes, then 3 minutes, then 5 minutes. And so this is absolute focus. Most people, when they meditate, they allow thoughts to come in, and yeah, maybe they're doing it for longer and they know to go back to the breath, like you feel a thought and then you go back to your breath. But for a lot of people, they get caught up in that, and then they're training their brain to just be used to thoughts, to be used to distractions being let in. But when you start from this and you start small enough that you have no ego about this, like you're not telling yourself, oh, I can do 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You're allowing yourself to start at 1 minute, which might be even harder than setting the timer for 10 minutes. Think about that for a second. Like, if you were to set the timer so low that your ego gets pissed off, that you get pissed off at how small you're setting the goal for, that could be more productive than 10 minutes, 20 minutes, which might seem like more productive because it's more time meditating, right? But it's the quality that you're going to be building if you start from 1 minute. So start with this, build it up to 5 minutes. And when you can get to 5 minutes, you can start doing that at the start of your practice and then add in 10 to 15 minutes of the normal one where you're like, for that longer period of time, you're trying to focus on your breath as much as possible, coming back to it. You get thoughts, you come back to it, but you can practice doing it for a longer time. And you'll see after you do the absolute focus meditation that the rest of your practice becomes so much more focused and so much more peaceful, because you're kind of like doing a sprint. If you think about it, you're doing a sprint and then you're really warmed up after that. You could go do whatever you want. You feel really high energy. And so that translates really well into your meditation. When you get this practice down, you could try guided meditations. I really recommend Breathe with Sandy. I got into him this year, and his channel has like 500K subs, and there's just so many guided meditations you could go through for energy, for eliminating stress. He has some very specific yoga practices too. I'd highly recommend all of that. Just dive into this topic because there's so much work and progress that can be made in this area. And even 500 sessions in, 600 sessions in, I feel like a noob in this area. So you can imagine what starting now for you would do for your future self if I'm a noob like years into this practice. So start right now, do the minute of absolute focus concentration and build it up to 20 and add in everything else. I hope this brought value to you. I hope that'll bring more focus, more peace, more happiness into your life. And if you got any value from it, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so that YouTube recommends my videos more to you and more to other people to help spread this message. Thanks for watching, and watch this next video.